All right, let's get right into it. Over the next few minutes, we're going to tackle a massive question that's on pretty much every leader's mind. How do you build a security program that isn't just aware of AI, but is actually built for the age of AI? Let's dive in. So let me just ask you, straight up, is your security program really ready for the AI wave that's already here? Because the reality is, the kind of challenges AI throws at us, we're talking data leakage, model manipulation, you name it, our traditional security frameworks were never, ever built to handle this stuff. Exactly. Those old playbooks, they're basically obsolete now. What we really need is a brand new blueprint, a structured, intentional plan to not only manage AI risk, but to harness its power safely. And that is precisely what we're going to map out together, right now. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll unpack the new security challenges that AI brings to the table. Then, we'll lay down 8 foundational practices. These are the absolute non-negotiables. After that, we'll assemble the core components that plug this program into the business. And finally, we'll see what our finished blueprint actually looks like in action. All right, let's get into it. Here's the thing with AI security. Being reactive just doesn't cut it anymore. You have to get out ahead of these really unique risks. Like your company's intellectual property accidentally leaking through prompts, or somebody misusing AI tools. It really demands a proactive, forward-thinking game plan. So the big question is, how do you actually get proactive? Well, think about it like building a skyscraper. Our AI security program has to have a rock-solid foundation. These next 8 practices, this is your concrete and steel. They are the absolute essentials. Let's look at the first 4 pillars. We start with trust but verify. This is huge because, let's be real, AI can be tricked, so you have to be constantly validating. Next up, you need crystal clear, acceptable use policies. That's just setting the rules of the road so everyone's on the same page. Then you've got to designate an AI lead. Someone has to be steering the ship. And finally, a rigorous cost-benefit analysis. You got to make sure this whole thing actually makes business sense from day one. And this right here, this quote really nails that whole trust but verify idea. We've all seen how these models can be jailbroken, right? Tricked into ignoring their own safety protocols. This means you can't just blindly trust what it spits out. Every single result, every line of code, it all needs to be validated. And not just once, but perpetually. It's a never-ending cycle. Okay, so building on that cycle, let's check out the next 4 pillars. First, you can't just keep your old cybersecurity program as is. You have to adapt it for AI. Then you've got to mandate audits and traceability. This is all about being able to answer why an AI did what it did. Crucially, you need to develop a set of AI ethics. This isn't just a nice-to-have, it's a must-have. And finally, that bigger picture, societal adaptation. How does this tech really impact your employees, your customers, and your community? So when we say adapt your program, what does that actually mean? Well, it's not some vague concept. Think about this for a second. An engineer pastes some secret proprietary code into a public chatbot to help debug it. Without the right tools, boom. Your most valuable IP just walked right out the door. Adapting also means beefing up your incident response plans for AI-specific attacks and keeping a close eye on threat intel from groups like OWASP. They've even got a top 10 list just for large language models now. Super important stuff. All right, the foundation's poured. It's solid. Now it's time to start framing the building, what we're calling the superstructure. These are the core pieces that make sure your AI security plan isn't just some project stuck in the IT department's basement. This is about making it an essential part of the whole business. And here's a really, really critical distinction we need to get straight. There's security for AI and AI for security. Think of it this way. Security for AI is like putting armor on your robot. You're defending the AI itself, its models, its data. AI for security, on the other hand, is like giving your security team a super smart robot sidekick to help them hunt for threats. A truly mature program has to do both. So, how do you make sure all this security work actually helps the business instead of just being, busy work? You've got to tie it to what the company is actually trying to achieve. And that's where frameworks like COBIT come in really handy. It's basically a playbook for connecting IT to business goals. So you can use specific parts of it to manage how your AI systems change or to make sure your ethics actually line up with what the company stands for. When you do this, security stops being just a cost and starts becoming a real business advantage. Okay, you've built all this stuff, but how do you know if it's actually working? Simple, you measure it. And that's what KPIs and KRIs are all about. Think of it like this. KPIs are your report card. They tell you how well you're doing. KRIs are like the warning lights on your dashboard. They tell you when you might be heading for trouble. Together, they create that crucial feedback loop you need to stay on track. Now, let's be crystal clear about something. None of this, not a single piece of it, happens in a vacuum. You absolutely must have buy-in from the top. And I'm not just talking about getting a budget approved. I'm talking about real, active support from your senior leadership. That's the political capital that gets you the people, the authority, and the teamwork you need to actually make all this happen. All right, here we go. The foundation is set, the superstructure is up, our blueprint is officially complete. And now for the best part. Let's put this whole thing into action and see what it can really do. This is the payoff. This is why we did all that work. A solid program means you can finally start using AI as a powerful weapon for your security. Imagine an AI that's constantly watching your network, catching weird behavior that no human could ever spot. Or an AI co-pilot that's feeding your security team critical info right in the middle of a crisis. This is where security gets way smarter and a whole lot faster. So here's the bottom line. A proper blueprint does so much more than just protect you. It changes the entire game. It takes AI from being this big, scary, unknown risk and transforms it into a managed, strategic advantage. It's what lets you innovate safely and move forward with real confidence. And that brings me to one last, really important thought. We've laid out the blueprint for today, but AI is moving at lightning speed. So the real challenge isn't just building this plan once, it's treating it like a living, breathing document. So the question I want to leave you with is this. As AI keeps evolving, how are you going to redesign your blueprint for whatever comes next?